My name is Kaeson Skrilla, professionally. Otherwise known as Skrilla 100 or Snapper. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, Roosevelt Projects, Bed-Stuy, by way of Linden Plaza, East New York, by way of Rosedale, Queens, by way of Suffolk County, Long Island. A friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, Kai grew up with Fred George Stick, and he was running with them, and we met at a show, and I started running with them, started being part of that mob, and actually, I had recorded my own demo with Cool T from the Afros. He had a studio in 1212. I recorded my own demo with him, and I presented it to Jay myself, and I was with him since. Yeah, I would say Jay was a street dude. It depends on your definition of street dudes. Like, Jay was, he was respected, he was loved. He did a lot for the community, he did a lot for his people. So I say he was a street dude, but he was also a family man, he was a businessman, he was a multitude of things, but I would say he was a street guy as well. Yeah, I actually had a relationship with Run and D, with Joe and D. Yeah, I seen them in the hood. We all family. Shouts to Run, shouts to DMC, shout to the whole Simmons family, shout to the McDaniels, shout to the Mizell family. I mean, when that happened, I was in Brooklyn, and I mean, their whole style and the way they dressed and the way they carried themselves, it was epic to me. Like it was like the epitome of what the streets was. So, I was a big fan, and it's a blessing to have ended up, being part of the family. Okay. I'm glad you asked that question. Well, I'm not sure if this is common knowledge because it wasn't to me, but Jam Master Jay is from Brooklyn. Jam Master Jay is from Brownsville, Brooklyn. So Jay moved to Hollis when he was like 12, 13, and he'd already been wearing the brims. He'd already been wearing his dad brims. He'd already been dressing a certain way. So when Jay moved to Queens, that was already his swag. And when Run DMC was birthed, they adapted the style that Jay had himself. So yeah, that was Brooklyn. To my knowledge, he always kept a crib in the house. The crib he grew up in, he had that crib. Like, I spent lots of nights in that crib. I stayed there for a minute. He always had that crib. Him and his family lived elsewhere in my history, but his sister lived there, his nephews lived there. Like, it was a family crib. Same place, 230 Hollis.
Why do you think Jay never left Hollis?
Jay was like, Jay embraced the fame. Like, a lot of people shy away from it. Like, they say fame is not for the faint heart. Like Jay embraced the fame, but it didn't. He wasn't like a famous person. Like, he was regular. Like, he was regular. Like I can remember times riding with Jay. He'd see a good basketball game and pull over the truck and get his shoes out the back and call next, randomly wherever we was at. Like, he was really a man of the people. The only studios that I know Jay had, he had a studio on Jamaica Avenue, 1212, which is where I came into the fold, where ONYX did a lot of their recordings, where I believe JAYO FELONY did work there, Joe Sinister, that nobody ever mentions, did work there. And from that studio, when that studio burned down, we moved to Rosedale. We had a studio off Brookville. And I say we because I actually physically moved the equipment, or what was left of it, into the Rosedale spot. Just like I moved that equipment from Rosedale to the studio of his untimely demise. Oh yeah, like I remember when like Jay would put on, like Jay would always try to help anybody from the hood, like anybody from Queens, anybody from Hollis. I remember when Ja got his deal, when Leo Cohen called Irv asking about the little guy with the big voice. It's my little man Jeff to the left, fucking Ja Rule from Wall. When Leo asked Jay about Ja, I remember Jay saying, nah, that's what's up, that's my little man, he from the hood. I remember him doing that, and I seen him do it with so many people. Like, he co-signed Free on 106 and Park. Like, he co-signed a lot of people and was a part of a lot of plays that people don't know. I was right there, though. Like, I was right next to him when a lot of this stuff was happening, so I'm privy to a little more information than most. Yeah, well, like I said, I came in during the ONYX time, like, coming off the high of their first album, working on the second album. I'm in all the videos from the second album. All We Got Is Us. Shouts to Fred Sticks on C. Yeah, like I was part of I was part of one of his groups. We was the Cream Team. It was 4 of us. Myself, Black Child, Lifestyle, and this other dude. And Black Child went to jail. Like, a lot of people don't know, Black Child from Murder Inc. and 50 come from the same camp. Black Child went to jail, and 50 came through. You know, I'm actually on 51st single, The Glow of a Thug. I'm on Power of a Dollar. I change places to prevent catching the cases. Yeah, like, I'm JMJ for real. Tap on my arm, like, I'm JMJ for real. That was my big homie. My big bro, my uncle, my love, you heard? Well, when Jay passed, we was preparing to go on tour the following morning. Jay had just came off a tour with Run DMC. They was touring with Aerosmith. So he had just came off a tour. We was going on a tour for Rusty Water. Rusty Water was Jay's nephew and Jay's partner, they group. So the crazy thing is I had just told Jay, like how you let niggas go on tour with all the jury on and you ain't letting me go? He was like, you right. And he had just said, pack your stuff for 2 weeks. So, the craziest shit, and I've never said this, and I chose Timbo platform. I chose your platform, homie, to even say any of this on, because you from the hood, you from Hollis, so. That night, when I got the call of his demise, it couldn't be more clearer. I was watching Beverly Hills Cop, and Jesse Isler called me. Jesse Isler was a mutual friend of mine and Jay's. I met Jesse through Jay, and Jesse was an investor. Like, he invested in my career. He invested in 50. Sent 50 on his first tour, pressed up his first album. I actually know for a fact that 50 just mentioned him in his latest book. But Jesse called me, and he the one that told me what happened. And I was in Hempstead, Long Island. I was in his chick crib. Word. And I was and it was crazy is I actually would have been there if my clothes wasn't dry. Like, my clothes wasn't dry. If my clothes were dry, like, I would have been there. It was divine intervention. Like, it was definitely divine intervention. Like, whoa. Jesse called me. When Jesse called me, he was like, yo, are you all right? I'm like, yeah. What you mean? He's like, yo, you heard about Jay? I'm like, what? He's like, Jay got shot. At the time, Jay and them was fucking with Aviani and them. Before anybody knew about Aviani, we was fucking with Aviani. So Jay had on a Lockman watch with 30 carats around it, 31 carat rocks around it. He had this platinum chain with a globe on it, because he was a globe or a basketball. So that's why when he said they was going on tour, I'm like, how you going on tour without, you ain't got nobody with you that's, you know, because we had access to a lot of jewelry. So when Jesse told me that Jay got shot, I was just like, damn, somebody probably tried to rob him. And then he told me, like, nah, he passed. So I called Shorty and shot down there. And the story that I got was 2 people busting the studio. And yo, let me say this. Since nobody else saying nothing, everybody got the same shit to say. I was with Jay damn near every day. I was in that studio regularly. Like I said, I moved them couches in there. I moved that equipment in there. I carried that glass door in there. So, like, I had say in the decor and all that. People keep saying that the door was buzzed up. Some people was buzzed in. That's not true. It was some, like, real estate place that just opened up, True America, Fab, some new real estate thing that was happening at the time. And they had a lot of traffic, so nobody from 24/7, which was the name of Jay's studio, buzzed nobody up. My personal belief is that whoever got in the building through the real estate people that was down the hall. And somebody got buzzed in, and the 2 people bust in, and somebody put their arm around Jay and shot him in his head. That was the story that I got. There was some girl in there rapping some random shit. I don't know who she was. I can't say I've ever seen just random people be in the studio auditioning. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was always like, I don't know what the fuck that was. But I'm not saying, you know, nothing negative about it. I'm just saying in my experience, like, that part about it, I don't know nothing about it. I wasn't there, like I said. We was all excited about going on tour. The tour bus was going to be there at 6 o'clock in the morning. We was all leaving from the studio. It would have been the first time we all slept in the studio before. There was 2 couches in the lounge. I think 3 couches in the lounge and a couch in the control room. So, like, it was no big deal. Like, we did it before. So we was going to all sleep there and leave out in the morning. So, yeah. That's the story that I got. You gotta understand, like, who Jay was. Like, see, I don't have the stories that everybody else has about when Run DMC was at the height and all that. I was in Brooklyn for all that, so he was really doing it. I don't have them stories. I got the stories from ONYX in Fergal, and even in them times, like, he used to throw like big barbecues and fireworks, and like, he looked out for his hood. Jay was a celebrity that you could touch. Like, Jay was a celebrity that you could touch. That, like, you see him in the store, he say what's up to you, he give you a pound. You know, he talk to you. He might go at you. Y'all might start getting at each other. Like, Jay was a cool dude, man. Jay was a real good dude, man. He's a real good guy. And I heard things, but for the most part, like, I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't there. So, I just dismissed all the rumblings and shit because I wasn't there. Yeah, I know both of them. One of them admitted to being there years ago. One of them actually tried to get at me the following day. Like, I didn't know what was going on. Like, Yeah, I know both of them. Like I said, one of them admitted it back in the days, and he started tweaking and shit, and ended up in jail. And then the other one was like Jay Godson. I know, son. Like I know him. Like I used to take him to the store with Bo. Like him and Bo, Jay nephew. I used to like that was my little homies. Actually, he shot Jay nephew, and me and him got into it because that's my little bro. That was me and Bo got really close. Like he was more known as my little brother to my circle than anything. So when I seen something like, yo, what the fuck is going on? And me and him got into it. And actually, we've been at odds since. Meanwhile, they cool. Him and Bo cool. But me and him was still at odds. As far as how I feel about him actually being the trigger man to kill Jay, I don't know. I'm not putting that on him. I got to see it play out. But like I said, like I wasn't there. Like I wasn't there, so I can't, pin anything on anybody because I wasn't physically there. Like, and then Jay had a situation, and I could tell he had a situation because he wouldn't let me go with him anywhere. Like even to the ATM, he'd be like, "Nah, I'm good," and go by himself. And I normally went with him everywhere. So when I seen him acting like that, I knew it was something, but I didn't know what. So I didn't know what it was about, why he had an issue. I didn't know anything. He totally shielded me from that because I was little homie. So I can't say who did or who didn't. I only know about the Tanar nigga because he was staying in the studio. He was staying in the studio, and I was the one that was like, he gotta go. Because they was running trains on little bitches from clubs and shit in there. Studio smelled like asshole and elbows. Like, these niggas gotta go. So I was actually the one that told, spoke to Randy and Jay like, yo, these niggas is fucking our shit up. And shortly after that shit happened. So I knew that he had access, and it, like, after the fact, it made sense that, because why was he staying there in the first place? Like, of all the places, like, why would you ask to stay there? But like I said, I'm not from Hollis, so I don't know, like, and that wasn't my spot, that was Jay's spot. So whoever he had stayed in there, he had stayed in there. But I had enough say-so to say, yo, these niggas in there stinking, these niggas washing up in the sink, they gotta get the fuck out the studio, like, because that was our sanctuary, like, this is mine, like, this is why I still got a studio to this day, because of Jay. This is our, this is where we come to get our mind right and create and get away from everything else. So, yeah. So I don't know, like, and that wasn't my spot, that was Jay's spot. So whoever he had stayed in there, he had stayed in there. But I had enough say-so to say, yo, these niggas in there stinking, these niggas washing up in the sink, they gotta get the fuck out the studio, like. Because that was our sanctuary, like, this is mine, like, this is why I still got a studio to this day, because of Jay. This is our, this is where we come to get our mind right and create and get away from everything else. So, absolutely, I've seen both of them around Jay. Like I said, I think the young nigga was Jay, like Godson. That's his people's from directly across the street from his house from where Jay grew up. His friend's son. That's who this kid is. So, if they can put that together and show me that that's who it is, like, that's crazy. But I can't put that on son. The other nigga, yeah, he definitely had everything to do with it. That's his MO, like. But the young dude, like, I ain't putting nothing on the jacket. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be honest, I don't know. Like I said, me and son been, and even me and him been beefing for years over some shit that had nothing to do with me. He shot Bo, and I popped on him for shooting Bo. And him and Bo cool, but me and him beefing. So even with that, I'm still not gonna say, yeah, you know what I mean? Because I can't, like, I wasn't there. Like, I wasn't there. Like, I wasn't there, and to me, like, the dots don't connect, but, you know. Well, for one, Jay just signed $1 million deal with Virgin Records for his own label called Hot to Death Records with Garnett Reed, bless the dead, my homie G-Net. So it was money flowing. Jay also just bought a crib, and like off of Springfield was kind of like Jamaica Estates, and so like I know the difference in Jay when he was living in an apartment by Left Rack, and we bought a crib. You know what I'm saying? Like it was money hitting at the time. So to say that all that happened, like I can't say. And again, like you gotta understand something. Like I was little homie. Like I got with Jay when I was like 18. Like I just came to Queens. Like I got with Jay real young, so I was accepted and I was brought in, but I was always little homie. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of shit I was shielded from. Like, and I know that in hindsight, but at the time, like, you know, I didn't see it. But after the fact, like, I realized, like, wow, that's why he wouldn't let me walk with him to the store. That's why he telling me to come pick him up. Like, it was just different shit. Like, you know, they say hindsight is 20/20. We sold bud. Like, that's all I can say. Like, I remember we had like wild pounds of bud in the closet at Rosedale, like some skunk weed. But as far as like bricks of cocaine and all that shit, I ain't never seen no shit like that. I ain't ever seen my big homie use no cocaine. I ain't ever seen him with no cocaine. I ain't ever seen him dealing in them type of circles. Like I can only speak for what I know, and I haven't ever witnessed any of that. None of it. Nah, to my knowledge, Jay had just got a bag for they remixed It's Tricky on some trip hop shit in Europe, and that shit went like 3 times platinum. So to my knowledge, Jay had just cleared up some tax shit, and then that deal happened, and he bought the crib. To my knowledge, Jay was doing alright. You know, I was, like I'm saying, I was in the house. I'm not talking about back in the days. I'm talking about the last 9-10 years of his life. I was in the house. Like, Jay would call me like, okay, what you doing? Yo, I got a show in Boston. You'll take my truck or your truck? Take my truck. We ride up to Boston, just me and Jay. Or wherever to do shows, like Chris Run. Him and Chris Run would just blow out in the truck and go do shows. Like, there's certain people that Jay fuck with like that, like, you know, that was there on the daily. I was there on the daily. I ain't seen none of that shit. I ain't putting none of that shit on my big homie jacket. Yeah, I saw him. Yeah, I saw him. That's what I'm saying, like, you know, Jay probably took that dude to Disney World or Dorney Park or whatever was going on. He was involved. They was family. He was family. So that's why I'm not putting that on him. You know, last time I seen the kid, I told him, like, yo, we beefing about nothing. This shit ain't about nothing. And we gave each other a pound, and that was it. And I haven't seen him since. So, like, like that was Jay Peoples. Like, that was Jay Peoples. Like, him and Bo is Jay's nephew. They the same. Them two dudes are around the same age. Like, they grew up across the street from each other. Like, I wouldn't see why he wouldn't have pictures in front of Jay's mirror and saying things about Jay, because he was definitely instrumental in his life. I'm not gonna say he should have left Hollis. I mean, he ain't live in Hollis. Jay ain't live in Hollis. He ain't live too far, but he ain't live in Hollis. I mean, this is a rule of thumb. This is a rule of thumb. Like, you know, you do have to leave because look what happens. Look what happens. He ain't get killed by no strangers. Many situations as he been in, he got killed by people he knew damn near his whole life. Like Jay done been in the trenches in Chicago and everywhere. Like I done been all over with my big homie and never scared, never no sweat, never, always the utmost respect. Like the gangsters that poured out after he passed and hit my line, it was like the utmost respect. So to end up getting killed in your own hood, like, that's just a commonality. Like you gotta leave. Once you lick, you gotta leave. Come back and do what you do, but you gotta leave. Jay didn't believe in that. Like, you know how many times I walked up Jamaica Avenue with Jam Master JB, walk up the Coliseum block, and walk down the Ave and go get a slice of pizza. Like, ain't no celebrity doing that. Not nobody with 30 million sold and Grammys and shit. Ain't nobody doing that. Jay did it on the regular. That was Jay's shit. That was Jay MO. Like, Jay was a man of the people. Like, honestly. Tenar's a dirtbag. Everybody know that. He's a dirtbag. Nobody put it past him. It is what it is. Shorty was getting money, man. The young nigga was getting money. He was doing his thing. You know, he was connected to some major people and shit that was connected to Jay. You know what I'm saying? And they was you know, pushing him along and helping him out, helping his situation out. So he was doing his thing. He was jingling. Like I said, we didn't have a relationship because of the situation with both. But I was seeing him, and you know, he was moving, had his music moving. He was doing his thing, man. You know, he was a get money fly nigga. I can't take that from him. The night before he passed. The night before he passed, my boy Jesse Itzler, he's part owner of the Atlanta Hawks, motivational speaker, Times bestseller. There's a mutual friend of me and Jay's. He had a party in the meatpacking district, and I showed up, and Jay was DJing. I think Chris Run might have been there with him. And when we was leaving out, my truck was down the block, and Jay had a rental car. He was like, was that the last time? I think that was the last time I seen him. I think the last time I seen him, he had a rental car, and he was getting in his rental car, and I was across the street. And he was like, yo, you good? I was like, yeah, I'm good. He was like, you all right? I'm like, yeah. My truck right there. He was like, all right. He's like, all right, catch you later. All right. And he got in the rental car. I believe that was the last time I seen him. Nah, I was just thinking like, because it was another, like, that whole time right before him passing was weird. Like, it was weird. Like, he didn't have his truck, he didn't have his Navigator, so he was having rental cars and shit. I was going to pick him up from his crib. Like I swept his crib, his new crib, for the carpet people to come. Like, me and him went in there and cleaned up. He came. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was my heart, man. That was my heart. To be honest, I have so many fond memories of Jay. Like, I'm actually, I'm about to release my series called Down with the Kings. You know, it's just cataloging my life and its music and the different artists that I've dealt with, and they all stem from like me messing with Jay. So, you know, I'll go more in depth about my life with Jay there. But as far as my fondest moments with Jay, like, I have too many. Like, I have too many. Like, I like to be in the studio with Jay. Like, I remember times Jay fell asleep like this. Like about to hit the pad, making a beat, he'll fall asleep, just getting ready to hit the pad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are the big moments for me. Yo, what's happening? My name is Kaeson Skrilla. I'm on everything, yo. Tidal, YouTube, SoundCloud, Reverb Nation, anywhere music is available. Deezer, Apple Music, Kaeson Skrilla, Kaeson Skrilla, or White Like the Label at Gmail. My website is whitelikethelabel.com. Established in 2014. I'm actually relaunching the site, and merch will be available. So
shout out to platform I have you.
Appreciate InfoMinds, yo. Timbo, good looking, bro. I ain't want to do this interview with nobody else. I haven't done any interviews. It's the only interview I got. Shout out to InfoMinds. JMJ.